There's a moment most people experience late at night. The noise finally dies down. The phone is quiet, the world slows, and that's when the thought creeps in. Is this really it? You're doing things. You're busy. You're surviving. But deep down, you know the life you're living doesn't fully match the life you imagined. You once had clear dreams, clear excitement, clear belief in what was possible for you. But over time, reality got louder than vision. Bills replaced dreams. Fear replaced curiosity. And slowly, when without noticing, you stopped seeing the future you wanted. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because they lose clarity. And when clarity disappears, motivation fades, direction blurs, discipline weakens. You don't quit, you just drift. What if the problem isn't that your goals are too big? What if the problem is that you stopped keeping them in front of you? That's where vision boards quietly change everything. When most people hear vision board, they imagine something shallow, a collage, a Pinterest project, something inspirational but temporary. But vision boards, when used correctly, are not about decoration. They're about direction. Your brain is a goal-seeking machine. It's constantly scanning your environment, asking one question: what matters right now? If your environment constantly shows stress, chaos, distractions, and urgency, your brain adapts to that. But when your environment reflects purpose, intention, and clarity, your brain shifts. A vision board is a way of telling your subconscious, this is where we're going. It externalizes your future so you don't have to rely on motivation alone. Because motivation fades, vision doesn't when it's visible. Vision boards help you move from reacting to life to designing it. Here's the truth most people won't admit. They don't actually know what they want. They know what they don't want: stress, struggle, insecurity, but they've never defined what replaces it. And when you don't define your future, your past becomes your default. This is why people stay busy but unfulfilled, why they consume motivation but never change direction, why they start goals but never stick long enough to see results. Vision boards force clarity. They force you to choose. They force you to ask uncomfortable questions like, what do I actually want my life to look like? And clarity is uncomfortable at first because it exposes the gap between where you are and where you want to be. But that gap is not a weakness, it's a roadmap. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking vision boards replace effort. They don't. They direct effort. Another misconception is copying someone else's dreams. Social media has convinced people that success looks one way. But if your vision board reflects someone else's values, your motivation will never last. There's also the belief that vision boards are only for dreamers. In reality, some of the most disciplined, high-performing people use visualization daily, not because it's trendy, but because it's effective. And then there's the belief issue, that quiet voice saying, this life isn't for someone like me. That voice is not intuition, it's conditioning. Vision boards challenge that conditioning by repeatedly showing your mind a new identity until it stops feeling foreign. Your brain doesn't distinguish clearly between what you imagine vividly and what you experience physically. This is why anxiety feels real, even when the threat isn't. Vision boards use this same mechanism, but intentionally. When you repeatedly see images tied to growth, success, peace, and fulfillment, your brain begins forming new associations. You start noticing opportunities you once ignored. You begin making small decisions that align with that future, without forcing it. This is called reticular activation. Your brain filtering reality based on what it believes matters. Your vision board trains your brain on what to look for. A real vision board isn't rushed, it's reflective. You don't ask, what looks impressive? You ask, what feels meaningful? The images should trigger emotion, not envy, not pressure, but alignment. The affirmations should reflect identity, not fantasy. And the board should be visible. Somewhere you see it daily, not hidden away. The goal isn't obsession, it's familiarity. When your future becomes familiar, fear loses power. Here's where everything shifts. Most people look at their vision board and think, one day, but transformation happens when you think, how would I move today if this future was inevitable? Visualization works when paired with embodiment. You don't wait to feel confident. You practice confidence. You don't wait for discipline. You act from identity. Your vision board becomes a compass, not a wish. Your life is shaped less by what you want and more by what you consistently focus on. Vision boards help you focus intentionally. They help you remember who you're becoming when life gets noisy. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a clear direction. And clarity changes behavior faster than motivation ever could. If you've been drifting, if you've been stuck, if you've felt disconnected from your future, this is your sign to stop living on autopilot. Create a vision worth moving toward and keep it in front of you.